Hello, my name is Patrick Lloyd, and I am the instructor for General Chemistry 1 for this semester for Section 16, which is an asynchronous course. So what I want to do is spend a little bit of time here to go over the course syllabus. Since we will not be meeting in person, it's good for you to have a video discussing the syllabus here. Okay. So let me go ahead and take a look at, let me screen this, the syllabus. There you go. Okay, so this is section 16, which is 66161, and it's online asynchronous. If you want to communicate with me, the easiest way to do that is to use either email or phone. You can call or text or use WhatsApp, Signal, or Telegram. My number is right here at 347-249-5676. Okay. If you want to send me an email, use this email address right here, explodingchemistry@gmail.com. Please avoid using, for example, the Kingsborough address. I don't check them very often. I do not use the Blackboard discussion board or any of the messaging systems that are in the software. So try to use one of these or this email address. Okay. Now, I do have office hours remote that I can schedule with you to meet if you want to do that. And so the meeting information is always the same. It's 761-534-4943. And the password is meet, lowercase MEET. I also have a YouTube page, which you can click on. And the YouTube page will take you to a couple hundred videos of general chemistry. Okay. Come up here. Okay, so we're not going to have any live meetings. So if you are looking for a course where there's actually live lectures and all of that, then you can contact the Department of Physical Sciences. They might be able to get you into an on-campus course, an on-campus section. You need to do it pretty quickly because things are, registration is ending very, very soon. Okay. Here's a phone number and an email address you can use for that. Like I said, I can do office hours. So this is the Zoom information right there. I will also be on campus at Kingsborough during the week. So if you happen to be on campus or plan to be on campus or want to be on campus for a meeting, we can arrange it and I'll let you know what days I'm going to be there. Typically, I'll be there Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Those will be days where you can meet me perhaps. Okay. I have an office, room S316 in the science building. Okay, so what do you need for this course? Well, you need a lot of technology, right? You're gonna need a computer, a tablet. I would recommend all of this, have it all, you know. It's hard to do an entire course online unless you have all this technology. So you will need a browser, of course, Safari, Chrome, Edge, or Opera. You're gonna need Microsoft Word. As a student, you have access to Office 360 for free. You will want to have a scientific calculator. So the scientific calculators, of course, are very common. Let me see if I have one right here. I usually have one right next to me. Oh, I don't seem to have one right here. Every once in a while I will move them and then they're gone. Okay, sorry about that. In any case, an inexpensive scientific calculator like the type that you have on your phone. Okay. You also need to have, you'll need to purchase this thing called Alex, ALEKS.com. You can purchase it directly through their website or you can go to the bookstore, okay? Alex is required for the course. I would recommend purchase, or no, I more than recommend, you need to purchase the 360-day access. And you can use it for Chem 12 if you go on to take that course. Okay, you have a year to use it. So 360-day access or 52-week access when you purchase it. It's $88 through Alex. If you get it at the bookstore, they're going to mark it up 30%. So if you have to get it through the bookstore, you'll add 30% to that. Okay. Let's see. The textbook is Chemistry 5th edition by Julia Burge, and that's published by McGraw-Hill. That is part of the Alex purchase. An ebook is included. Okay. So you do get the ebook and all of that stuff that's with it. It's the same book that we used in Chemistry 100 and we do use in Chemistry 1200. Okay, it is an ebook. It's not a physical book. If you want to get a physical book, I would recommend going directly on your own and just purchasing it out in the market. So bookfinder.com, for example, search, chemistry author Julia Burge, and right there you'll be set. You'll be able to find it cheap. Get a used version. Okay, get 3rd edition, 4th edition, doesn't really matter. Okay, 3rd, 4th, or 5th is fine. 3rd, of course, is cheaper. 4th is cheaper. 5th is more expensive. Make sure you have a Zoom account. Okay, if you want to do office hours, I mean, technically you don't have to have a Zoom account for this course unless you want to do office hours because there are no live sessions. So that's fine, but you probably already have a Zoom account by now. Here's a link to instructions on how to create a Zoom account at YouTube. Okay. Now, in terms of the ALEX, this is a little bit, little brief instructions here. Remember, you go to alex.com and these are the brief instructions. Now, when you go through it, you want to enter in the class codes. So you make sure you get this class. And if you've taken chemistry before and you purchased ALEX previously, be careful. Make sure that you put in this code. So if you used it for Chem 100, for example, what you want to do is you want to add a new class. Okay, it's not going to be the same code as we used in Chem 100 or any other course, or even if you took this course before in a previous semester. So there's our class code. That's for you. That's for me. That's for us. Here's the same thing again. I'm sorry this is incorrect here. It says 09 and 15. For some reason, I keep trying to change that and it won't go away. This is section 16, okay? I apologize. This is section 16, 1-6. Let's see. There's a little bit more detail. So you can read through this. This is all, remember, this is all in Blackboard in the course documents, okay? And then some more details about purchasing it again. Now, I do want to mention the financial access code. If it's going to take you a little while to get some money to pay the $88, then you have a 2-week access for free. You just put in this code right here. Okay, this 20-digit code is called a financial aid access code. It's not really financial aid. All it does is it allows you to cut off the last 2 weeks of your 52 weeks of access and pay 2 weeks into it. So you'll be able to use it for 2 weeks before they make you pay. Okay. Okay, again, some software, Blackboard, of course, you get that through CUNY. ALEX, you're going to have to purchase that. Laboratory reports will all be done on word processing package, so I recommend Microsoft Word for that. Again, students get Microsoft Office 365 for free. It's not the best because you don't get it on your computer. It's web-based, but it seems to work. Of course, you'll need to have an email address, but you get an email address through your CUNY as a CUNY student. And then zoom.com if you're going to do office hours. Okay, so a lot about the technology right there. Here's what we're going to learn in this course. We're going to cover several chapters from the Burge textbook. Julia Burge is the author. And the ALEX is not produced by Julia Burge. It's produced by some software engineers, but they do try to make it match up a little bit anyways. Okay. So here's the topics. We're going to take that textbook and we're going to cover chapters 3, 4, 5, 10, go back and do 6, 8, 9, and a little bit of 11, not the whole thing, just a few sections of 11. Okay, so there's around 7 chapters or so. Each chapter within it, you can read the chapter, right? Read a textbook. There's going to be problems inside, which are called sample problems. So you do the sample problems, and then it'll get you kind of ready for the ALEX. So the advice would be you read the text in a section. So if, for example, you read section 3.1, it might be like 4 or 5 pages, probably 3 or 4 pages actually. You do the sample problems in that on your own. Then you try to practice problems on your own that come right after it. And then at the end of the section, there's going to be some multiple choice questions, which are called checkpoints. You can do those, and then you move on to the next section. 3.2, 3.3, so forth and so on. Okay, so you just kind of go through it methodically. Section 3.1, let's read it. Let's do the sample problem. Let's do the practice problem. Let's do the checkpoints. And now go on to section 3.2. Okay. Course videos on YouTube. Okay, so each chapter has a set of videos, and so they're all under Exploding Chemistry Patrick Lloyd. You can search that on YouTube. Let's see. Here is here is a YouTube link for all these videos. I've broken them down by chapter right here. Okay, so that might be more useful for you. So when you click on one of these, a chapter will pop up and you'll have 5 to 10 videos that you can look at for that particular chapter. So we're doing chapter 3 first. Let's go back just real quickly. We're doing chapter 3 first, which is stoichiometry, ratios of combination, sections 1 through 7. Okay. And so here is a link to all the videos from chapter 3. Okay. So you can watch those videos as you want, as many times as you want. I may add more videos this semester. These are rather lengthy videos. They're essentially recordings of my lectures. So they're an hour to an hour and a half long. Sometimes it's nicer to have kind of shorter videos of 10, 15 minutes, but for now, this is what we have. I'll let you know if there's more videos popping up. Okay, these are all previous semesters. It essentially sends you into the same links as well. I have a lot of videos. Okay. Now, what about details of Alex's homework assignments and the ebook? Okay. First of all, Alex homework and exams will cover 85% of your course grades. So make sure that you're working on Alex immediately. Okay, just do it first. Alex is based on the idea of objective. An objective is like a homework assignment. So objective 1 would be chapter 3, objective 2 would be chapter 4. So that's a set of homeworks. These all have deadlines. So make sure that you really, pay attention to these deadlines. If you miss the deadlines, that's going to cause problems in terms of your grade and exam performance and all of that stuff. Okay. Each objective has a large number of topics. A topic is a type of problem. So the terminology is a little different than maybe you've heard. You might think of an assignment and a homework problem. The terminology under Alex is an assignment is called an objective. A homework assignment is called an objective. And then a type of homework problem is called a topic. Okay. So if you take a look here, the first objective title is chapter 3. The number of topics is 20. So there's 20 different types of problems you have to do. Then there's a due date, which is Monday, March 21st at 2 a.m. It will shut you out of doing that assignment at that time. That's Eastern Standard Time, by the way. Okay. So if you miss that deadline, it's going to immediately say, okay, it's over. We're going to give you credit for what you did, but now it's time to move on to chapter 4. Okay, so make sure you get these things done by the deadline. If you can't get them done by the deadline, I wouldn't panic. Just move on to the next chapter, move on to the next one, and do as well as you can. Okay, if there's a particular chapter where you only do 18 out of 20 topics or 16 out of 20 topics, that's not going to kill your grade. What will kill your grade, of course, is if you don't do any of the topics and you miss a chapter altogether, then you probably got a problem with being able to pass the class. But, try to keep up with it. These are the deadlines. Okay. Now, you may have things come up in your life, but we are not going to be flexible on the deadlines because you have, you can work on them at any time up to the deadlines. So typically a homework assignment for chapter 3 would be done 1 week after the semester begins. Here you really have like a couple of weeks to do it. So chapter 4, you have like 4 weeks to do it. And chapter 5, you have 6 weeks to do it or 7 weeks to do it, something like that. Okay. So stay with the deadlines. Okay. Keep that in mind. But again, don't panic if you miss one. But if it's a situation where you just didn't even start that objective and it's due, then you really have to think about whether you want to be in the course, because you will have to stay, in order to perform well, you have to stay up with these deadlines. Okay. This last one here is underlined because it's only a week after the one that's previous to it. So chapter 8 is due the 6th, and then chapter 9 is due the 13th. Okay. All right. So again, just sort of stating here due dates. Again, if you get 80% of it done, you get 80% credit. You get 90% of it done, you get 90% credit. So it's not like you didn't complete it, so you get a 0. Okay. Each Alex homework assignment, each problem has a explanation you can click on at the bottom. There's a separate video on using Alex, so I won't talk about that in much detail here, but it's all in here that you can read this over. There may be a knowledge check. There's certainly one at the beginning. It's called an initial knowledge check. It's going to check and see what you know how to do. The initial knowledge check right here. Just be honest with it. Take about a half hour or so. I say take 30 to 45 minutes. Just be honest with it. See if you know how to do it. If you take Chem 100, you're going to know some of this stuff already. If you took chemistry somewhere else, you're going to know some of this already. It's just trying to figure out what you already know. If you already know it, it's going to give you credit for knowing it already. Okay. But on that hand, don't research the problems on Google, because what'll happen is it'll immediately put you into the harder problems, and then you won't know how to do those. You want to start with the easier ones. And then again, there's more details here. There's something called your pi progress. So all those topics together add up to 128 topics. And so that's essentially what we call your pi. And so your goal is to finish all 128 different types of problems by the end of the semester. Part of your homework grade is the pi. So if you at the end got 96 topics done and it was out of 128, you get 75% for that. Okay. There are exams also in Alex. Okay, so the exams are also in Alex. Again, there's no makeup exams. You got to have them done on time. So I recommend doing them early, a day or two early, just to be sure. You never know, you might get ill or something happens at home or at work and you can't get in. So do it early. That you don't want to push it off. You can't do the exams late. Okay. So the first one is chapter 3, Monday, March 21st at 2 a.m. That is the deadline. And it's chapter 3. It's an exam on chapter 3. The second exam, Monday, April 4th is the deadline. You can do them early. That's chapter 4. It's the second exam. There are 6 exams, okay? Each exam has 10 questions. You have an hour to do it. They're homework problems, essentially. Essentially what Alex does is it takes the homework problems that you worked on, these objectives with all the topics in it, and I pick 10 of them for you to essentially do the exam on, okay? So you put your answer in, and you don't have to show your work. You just have to put your answer, okay? Like I said, make sure you do it early so that you don't run into some kind of scheduling problem. There are practice exams. Each of those 6 exams has a practice exam as well. It's all under assignments. When you're in Alex, just look at assignments. The practice exams are optional. You don't have to do them. They're lengthy. They're longer than the regular exams, but that's just to kind of get you ready for those regular exams. And you can take them more than once. They do not count towards your grade. You don't get extra credit for doing them. You don't get penalized if you don't do them. They're just there to give you practice for the regular exams. They're not mandatory, okay? A couple details about exams. When you take the exam, you can't use the ebook. It's turned off. You can use the scientific calculator, paper, and notes. I didn't even put in here, you can put notes. If you have some notes, you can bring those with you as well. You're going to do them at home anyways, or at work, wherever you are, okay? I'm not going to be watching you taking the exams. There is no separate final exam, so it's just those 6 exams. Those are your exams, okay? This is the course grading for the course. So, these are funny numbers here because it just sort of adds up. There's 7 objectives and it all, each problem, certain types of problems. But this kind of allows you to kind of estimate what your grade is throughout the semester. So, you just say, look, my objectives, my objective 1, I had 90%. My objective 2, I had 82%. Objective 3, I had 64%. As you do those, just take an average objective. So let's say you had 90 and 70 for the first 2 objectives. The average of that would be 80. So you'd put in 80%. So that would go right here, 80%, right? Multiply that by 0.2333, and that'll give you a little score there. Now the pi is a little trickier. I mean, quite frankly, assume that you'll finish the pi, right? By the end of the course, your pi should be 100 if you're doing the homework. But if you say, look, I'm not going to do all the pi, I'll do 90% of it, then you put in 90%. So you're going to estimate that, quite frankly, until the end. So 0.4667 times whatever that percentage is should be 100. And then you have 2 numbers there. And then your exams, as you know, after your first exam, your exam average will be your score on your first exam. After 2 exams, take the average, right? And you know, as the exams come in, you're going to be able to fine tune what this average is. 0.15 times that average, put that there. And then your lab average. So you're going to have these lab reports and, you know, just write your scores in there. 0.15 times the average of those, put that in there, and then add them all together, and that'll give you an overall percentage. So you can pretty much do it at any point once you start turning in work. And then here's the course breakdown. If you're between 88 and 100, you get an A. If you're between 75 and 87, you get a B. If you're between 50 and 74, you get a C. And if you're below 50, you get an F. Okay, so no A's, no pluses or minuses. Okay, so you should be able to figure that out pretty much throughout the course. People do tend to do a little bit better as the course goes on. If you stick with it, you tend to do better. You get better at ALEKS and all that kind of stuff. So these are all optional problems. These are end of chapter problems in the ebook. Okay, so initially when I started teaching this course, these would have been, exams would have been based on these problems, but because we're doing all this ALEKS work, the exams are more based on the ALEKS, so these will give you extra practice, okay? And the answers are in the ebook. These are some resources for any distance learning, the Kingsborough accessibilities, if you're involved in that. IT support, here's their phone number and email. Here's the KCTL, the Learning Center, not KCTL, Kingsborough Learning Center with their number and all that. You can get free tutoring through the college. And some policies of the college. Here's ALEKS, if you have technical problems with that. Often I will just say, hey, call ALEKS, right? Because they'll be able to fix stuff for you very quickly. Okay. And then here's some policies as well. Okay. These are the learning outcomes for the course. And only a couple free, frequently asked questions. Are the online practice exams mandatory? I put these here because people would ask me this last semester. And it's like, no, they're just there to practice. Can you submit work on ALEKS after the due date? Nope. Exams and homework objectives need to be completed prior to the due dates listed on the syllabus. Okay, so there's only 2 of them there. Okay, so good luck with everything. This is just for the lecture. Notice I didn't talk anything about the lab. There's a lab component to this. I'll have a separate video about that. Okay, so I wish you well. Reach out to me again. My contact information is here. There's my cell number. There's my email address, and then if you want to do office hours on Zoom, that's right here. Okay, so good luck. More materials will be coming into the course content. So actually, let me close that out right there and see if I can find it for you. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. So this is the course content. Notice I'm putting everything in the lecture because that way you don't have to click between different sections on Blackboard. It's annoying. So here's that syllabus I just went over. Here's the laboratory syllabus. And then this is all laboratory stuff. It's just we don't have it all on ALEKS, so it's all done kind of internally. So these are all the laboratory things that you'll need. And they're not complete. It only goes up, the report sheet only goes up to 2. So I'll be adding these as the semester goes along. Okay, so you'll see that. You'll also see that I do announcements. The announcements are set up to email to your email address, okay? So I have only put one up so far, as we speak of here, but more, at least once a week, you're going to be getting a little announcement coming in, okay? All right, so there we go. So like I said, I wish you well. Reach out to me if you have any questions or need any help. I'm also a chemist, by the way. Not only am I an instructor on the internet, I actually know a little chemistry. So if you have any chemistry questions, be sure to reach out to me, okay? And take care. I wish you well.